Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen, and members of the jury, I am Cindy Jones, and I am the attorney for the United States of America. And I am here today to prove that John Wilkes Booth is guilty of first-degree murder and treason. So before we begin, let's define these terms. First-degree murder is when someone premeditates and intentionally kills another person. And treason is a crime of disloyalty against one's country. I am here today to prove that John Wilkes Booth is guilty of not one, but both of these crimes. On April 14th, 1865, President Abraham Lincoln was enjoying a play at Ford's Theater, but little did he know that this would be the last play he would ever see. On this same night, John Wilkes Booth was also present at Ford's Theater, with both a one-shot Derringer gun and a knife, ready to kill President Abraham Lincoln. I am here today to prove that he shot President Abraham Lincoln, killed him, and also stabbed Major Henry Reed Rathbone with a knife. As soon as he did this, he jumped from the balcony, screaming, "Thus always to tyrants," in Latin. And on April 26th, John Wilkes Booth was arrested outside of Garrett's Barn in Port Royal, Virginia. We also know that Booth has admitted on many occasions his resentment towards President Abraham Lincoln. We all know that Booth is a strong advocate of slavery. He is a Southern plantation owner, so he believes he has the right to own slaves. When Lincoln's views on abolishing slavery were known to the public, the South was in a great uproar. They were not happy. Booth is a strong advocate of slavery, but he is also a member of a conspiracy theory to get rid of President Abraham Lincoln. The original plan was to kidnap the president, but unfortunately this plan did not work out, and it had to move to killing the president of our country. We also know that Booth is an actor at Ford's Theater, following in both his father and his brother's footsteps. And according to my witnesses that you will hear today, Booth is determined to go down in history as the most famous Booth of all. Now you tell me, does this sound like an aspiration of an insane man or a dramatically fame-hungry one? That is up to you. In conclusion, Booth does admit to pulling the trigger of the gun, but he does not admit to being the mastermind behind this plan. So he's already pleaded guilty for first-degree murder, but I'm here to prove that he is guilty of treason. He failed 3 times to kidnap our President of the United States. What's left other than to shoot him to virtually get rid of him forever? And this was not a simple right place, right time deed. This was a planned event. I'm here to show you the evidence that John Wilkes Booth is not insane. He cannot plead insanity. This would be illogical. The only way he could plead insanity is if he randomly showed up at Ford's Theater without a plan and randomly happened to kill the president. This is the only way that he can plead insanity. There's too much evidence to support that John Wilkes Booth fired the one-shot Derringer that killed Abraham Lincoln. And what drove this man's actions? Remember, he's a Southern plantation owner that wants his slaves. As soon as President Abraham Lincoln announced the Emancipation Proclamation, his lifestyle would change forever. He could no longer own slaves. Then slaves would be equal to white men. This was not going to happen for John Wilkes Booth. He would not let it happen. Booth's views of equality of both white men and Negroes led him to commit the greatest crime he ever could against one's country, which was kill our President, Abraham Lincoln. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Does the defense wish to open?
Yes, Your Honor.
Proceed.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, my name is Christopher Underwood, and I will be representing the defendant, John Wilkes Booth, in this case. On April 14th, 1865, our president, Abraham Lincoln, was shot in the back of the head with a one-shot Derringer pistol. John Wilkes Booth is accused of giving the blow, even though no one saw him pull the trigger. And he's, well, mentally ill. The only thing that the witnesses who we coming before you today saw was John Wilkes Booth, a man of mental insanity, jumping from the stage. Now, we are left with the tragic fact that the president is dead. But the questions at hand are, did John Wilkes Booth even commit the crime? And if this is so, was he even sane? Imagine feeling stripped of your pride through a harsh war. Picture living below the high standards and expectations of a very well-known, very talented brother and father. But above all, try and relate to being manipulated. Manipulated by powers above you, who have tried again and again to conspire against the president and to frame him. On top of pleading not guilty, our defendant has rights, according to common law, to plead innocent by insanity as a criminal defense in this case. At the time of the crime, John Wilkes Booth was legally insane due to the tendencies acquired from his father and his mental state through the pressures of aspirations to become world famous. He hoped to surpass the accomplishments of his father and brother, and conspirators were aware of this, eventually framing the death of President Abraham Lincoln upon him. The prosecuting attorney will make an attempt to prove that John Wilkes Booth premeditated this assault and was in his right mind in doing so. Their witnesses will testify to evidence intending to prove Booth guilty under charges of first-degree murder, mens rea, and treason. They believe that this act was one of hatred and of malice and conspiracy towards the President of the United States. They will use faulty evidence and suspicious witnesses. I'm here to ask that you not give in to their persuasive tactics. In the United States of America, one is declared innocent until proven guilty. This means that if a person is in fact guilty, there must be without a reasonable doubt in the jury's mind that he is. The evidence must be more than enough to condemn the accused. If the evidence is not sufficient, and the witnesses are not fully persuading, the jury must come to the conclusion that the accused is not guilty. Today I will call the witnesses, Laura Keene, Edwin Booth, Dr. Samuel Mudd, and John Wilkes Booth. Their testimonies will leave you with no question against the fact that Booth was indeed insane. The prosecution will provide those witnesses who want to see an innocent man placed in jail. Please find the defendant not guilty of the acts accused against him. If you do find that he is guilty, I ask that you find him innocent by means of insanity under the common law for criminal defense. Thank you.
All right, before the prosecution calls this witness, I just want to clarify something for the jury. For the purposes of this exercise,